Hey guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do an update for my 2018 Pan That palette. But before we get into the video today, I just wanted to say that I finally hooked up my new microphone, so hopefully the audio is okay. I will definitely be listening to it and trying to adjust it as needed, so if it's absolutely terrible, please bear with me through this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and push that notification bell so you know when I post. If you like Pan That palette videos, please go ahead and give this one a thumbs up. And now let's get into all the makeup. So in case you forgot, or if you're new to my channel, this year I decided to pan my Urban Decay Ammo palette. So let me go ahead and show you what my palette looked like the last time I did an update, and then I'll show you what it looks like now. Now here is what my palette currently looks like. I think there have been some pretty good changes since the last time you saw an update, especially because there was at least a week in there where I didn't use this palette at all. We had gone on vacation and I took a different palette with me. So I kind of just left this one by the wayside there for a while, and I have to say that was really nice to take a little bit of a break from this palette. This is going to be my third year doing Pan That palette, and I don't think I've ever really taken a break like that. Yeah, here and there I have used different palettes throughout my Pan That palette time, but I've never like exclusively used a different palette for more than 2 or 3 days. So that was kind of nice. I enjoyed the little break, but I was happy to get back to the palette because I am really excited to finish up this palette as much as I can throughout this year. All right, so let's go ahead and just go through all of the shades. Here's the first shade, Smog. If you remember from the last update, I had said that I was going to repress that shadow and add in a little bit more of a darker color from my Naked 3. I did go ahead and do that, but I ended up hitting pan on it just today, which is really exciting. I wasn't sure that I was that close back down to the pan, so I was really happy about that. Mildew I have used a few times. You can't really see much of a difference, I don't think, but I have used it. My goal for this shadow is to just hit pan on it. Once this one is gone, I think I will be using Mildew quite a bit more. And I didn't even mention a goal for Smog. Because I just hit pan on it, we'll kind of, just kind of play it by ear a little bit, but I would love to hit the side of the pan on one of the sides of the shadow there. All right, now moving back down here to Oil Slick, that is the black. And if you remember, I was just having a really hard time with that shadow. It felt like it was going absolutely nowhere. I felt like I should have hit pan on it like 3 or 4 months ago. Well, I finally did hit pan this month. So that was really exciting. That was definitely one of my goals for this update, was to hit pan on that, so I'm so excited that I did that. And then here is Last Call. I used that a few times as well. Not a whole lot of difference, I don't think you'll be able to see, but I have used it. And then here is Chopper. This is my go-to all over lid shade currently. And as I mentioned in that last update as well, I really don't like this shade, which is so disappointing to me because I had a full size of that quite a while ago, and I loved that shade back then, but I don't know, it's either just changed because the palette is old, or this formula in particular in this palette just isn't as good. But I have to spray my brush every single time I use it, and I've even just been spraying directly onto the palette lately just to make it a little bit easier on myself, and I'm sure I'm kind of ruining the entire palette when I do that, but I don't really care. It does definitely help, but it's just still not a very good shadow. So as soon as I hit pan on that one, whenever that is, hopefully within the next 2 months, after that I'm going to just call it quits on this shadow because I really just don't like it. So then down here on Maui Wowie, because I've been working on Chopper, I really didn't touch this one at all this month. Shattered, the blue here, you guys know my feelings on blue eyeshadow. I'm not a huge fan, but I did go ahead and pop this on my inner corner on 4th of July. I thought that was a really fun look. I have it posted on my Instagram in case you want to go check that out. So yeah, that was fun to have. Definitely not a necessary shade for me, but because I had it and it's in this palette, I decided to go ahead and just go for it that day. Then here is Polyester Bride. I did repress this one as well. If you remember at the last update, it was just kind of all over the sides of the pan here, so I just kind of moved it around a little bit. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more to be gone by this update, but it is what it is. I definitely will finish that within the next 2 months, I think. And then the last shade that I have in the palette here is Grifter, because Sin I finished off the last update. Grifter, that's the color that I've got on my inner corner. I feel the texture and consistency of the shade is very akin to Chopper, unfortunately. It's a hard shade to use. I did use a lot of setting spray to get this kind of pigmentation on my eyes today, so it took a really long time to build up, but I think it looks really pretty. I love the color. I just wish the formula was a little bit easier to work with. So I don't know that I will hit pan on this before the end of the year. My guess is that I won't, but every now and then I do like to use it because it is really pretty. So we'll just see where I end up with that one at the end of the year. All right, now moving on to the two shades that I'm working on in my Z palette. Let me go ahead and show you what they looked like last time, and then I'll show you what they look like now. So out of my Z palette here, I'm currently just focusing on these two shades. So I will start here with my Makeup Forever shade, and this one is M530. I really hate this shade. I've also mentioned that many times in these updates. I felt like this shade was just kind of going nowhere for a while, but I had hit pan on it by the last update, and then I did go ahead and repress the shade, and I added in a Lorac shade from my Lorac Pro 2 palette. It's a very similar color to that. I don't remember the name of the shade though, but since I did that, I have loved this shade so much more. I'm so happy that I did that. It just makes the eyeshadow go on so much more evenly and just makes everything on top of it blend so much better. I'm a really big fan of the Lorac Pro eyeshadow formula, so I'm not surprised that I like this one so much better after mixing that one in. And I did hit pan on that today as well. I don't know that I'll be done with that by the next update, but if I'm not, I bet I will be really, really close to finishing that up. And then the last shade to talk about here, is it Salted Caramel? I don't know why I can never remember the name of this shade, but this is from the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, and that is the shade that I've been using in my crease all the time. I wish I had a little bit more gone, but it is what it is. I would be willing to bet though that this shade will be done by the next update. I'm not sure which crease shade I will go ahead and start using. I've got so many to choose from, I'm sure, but I have really enjoyed using this shade. I think it's really beautiful, but it's just, you know, I don't know, it's kind of a weird texture, I think, because that palette is just so old. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it very, very soon because a lot of the shades just don't work at all in that palette. It's very strange. I've heard so many good things and I was so excited when I bought it, but I really honestly think I got a dud of a palette. But this one has been fine, and the white that I used up in that palette was fine too. But yeah, so I think maybe by the next update that one will be done, which will be awesome. So that was my update for Pan That Palette. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've kind of hit a roadblock with this palette. It's just kind of been really uninspiring to me lately, especially with the shade Chopper here, because I just really don't like how it performs on my eyes, and that's the one that I'm really trying to hit pan on currently. So certain days when I go to use it, I'm fine, but other days when I like reach for my eyeshadow palette, I'm like, do I have to? But I'm gonna stick with it. You know, I think maybe if I do hit those days more often going forward, maybe every so often I will go ahead and use a different eyeshadow palette, because I do have so many eyeshadow palettes, you know, that are just kind of being ignored at this point. You know, maybe I will try and incorporate a little bit of my other eyeshadows in, just, you know, to kind of spice it up a little bit. Oh, and I didn't even turn this light on. There we go. Does that make any difference? I've got a light like literally right below me and I didn't even turn it on today. But anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I'd also really appreciate it if you subscribed to my channel and gave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. We can also connect on Instagram. I will always have that linked down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!